Hi Aries, and welcome to your January 2021 general reading. So it's very funny saying that. So here we are, brand new year, brand new cycle, brand new energy, all very sort of Aries energy. Everything feels new. And it's very funny because when I look at your Lenormand card, it's like you get the ship. And the ship is this energy that propels your life from one place to another. Fantastically beautiful card, by the way. It's almost like I'm off, you know. It's that energy of going forward. Wonderful, wonderful energy to be taking with you into the year. And then, lucky for some, you get the 4-leaf clover. So this is about, it's a card about prosperity and luck. So obviously prosperity and luck means different things to different people, okay? It can be prosperity of the creative function, the internal world, the spiritual, the financial, I don't know. You know, what I hope, Aries, is it goes to where you most need it. It could be health, anything. So I'm just hoping it goes to everyone watching exactly where you need it. And probably when we throw the cards, we'll get an idea of where you're headed. Because you're definitely, I mean, you're headed to the 4-leaf clover. Isn't that wonderful? So in my fourth reading, some really interesting qualities coming through. So let's see if yours is the same. So I am going to do what's behind you because I'm not sure. They'll probably be out around the 27th, the 28th of December. King of Wands behind you. And the Death card. So if any of you are dealing with grief, I'm sorry, because you know the Death card can be about grief, but it's not really about. It's a Scorpio card, and Scorpio rules transmutation and transformation. Let me pull on more what's going on. So what you want is a 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands is a victory. The gift is the Hermit card. The challenge is the Knight of Wands. Okay, you get a lot of energy going on. Knight of Swords in your relationships. This is a very, very, very dynamic energy going on. That's probably where the ship is, to tell you the truth. Money and work. You get the Wheel of Fortune. So there's your 4-leaf clover, okay? So I always say money and work, but I always perceive money and work as what we do in the world. And that's not always, you know, so they're sort of related, but it's what we do in the external world. The Devil at a soul level, which is Capricorn. That's very interesting. Queen of Swords as the outcome, Aquarius energy. So what comes after the Queen of Swords? See, I think the Devil card is about trying to make something concrete. Bring it into... we can have all the ideas in the world, but unless we've got the Saturn function, nothing comes into definition. That's what the earth houses are in our birth chart. Defining and bringing something into definition. So I think that's what it's about. And I think it's mostly to do with your work in the world. Because these two cards, okay, Page of Cups. I think I'll leave it at the Page of Cups. Because the Page of Cups is like an ace. And I either stop at an ace or a major, and if none turn up, it's because the story's still coming through. So the Page of Cups as the outcome is like the Ace of Cups. It's living through the heart, okay? When we live through the heart, we're beginning to embody, and it's very, very interesting. I mean, you haven't got the Queen of Cups, you know, these are almost very much the Aquarius Leo energy, because Leo rules the heart and Aquarius stands for, she's very, very much this new energy. She's the energy of truth, you know, whatever that means to you. And combining these two together is very, very interesting, because the Page of Cups is like the heart potentially returned to its original state. Can you imagine that we lived our life from our original heart that's recovered from all its wounds and shocks and damages? I mean, that is the last stage spiritual path, by the way. The last stage of it, after we've done all the Scorpio work, we return to the 12th house, we return to Pisces, and we return to the state of living our lives with this very, very open innocence. I'm finding it hard to put into words. Bear with me. So what's behind you? You've got the Death card. The King of Wands might be a person, or it might be your own energy, okay? I mean, the energy is a very, very, very high level right now, okay? And it's going just to continue that way for most of the year. Not all of it, but definitely quite a lot of it. So this might be your fire energy. Fire and air is yang. It goes out and it wants to make things happen. This isn't quite happening yet because the King of Wands doesn't move, okay? It's the pages and the knights that do the work. But this might be beginning to think of ideas, think of passions that you want to pursue. That's maybe what it is. It might be a person, a fire sign person. You then get the Death card. So I will check the Death card. Some of you might be dealing with the loss. There's been so much loss this year. I think to end 2020 with acknowledging it, just acknowledging, because if it's not been actual physical loss, there's just been an awful lot of loss, and grief is an incredibly sacred process. Anything more about the Death card, please? It just looks like it's just a bit change. It's with the Four of Swords, so maybe what you're doing here is going into the cocoon stage. But it's very interesting with the King of Wands, because this is one incredibly powerful cocoon. Because it's like being in the cocoon stage, but this fire just like ready just to burst right open, okay? So again, if any of you are going through a death, then please accept my condolences. Now what you want is a Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is a victory card. So the card before it is the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is the forces of evolution. You know that feeling when you're being pushed into, like, you really, really want to change. But when you're in the Five of Wands, you're in a state of head's going one way, heart's going the other way, and it's one of these cards that force an evolutionary breakthrough. This is you. So you've been staring in the black hole of the Five of Wands, which is staring at an abyss. Shall I or shan't I? Shall I make this leap? Shall I burst forward? And then the Six of Wands is, I burst forward. Yeah. I came out. I've had a very significant victory. And maybe that's what these cards are about. It's almost like you're You're looking a little bit wanting to make a huge shift. Okay. Now the gift is the Hermit card. Now the Hermit card is many things. So this might be some time spent in reflection. But the Hermit is the guide. That's what the Hermit does. It's the guide. And a lot of people are... So this might be you becoming a guide. There's many, many ways to guide in this world. It's the Virgo archetype. So this is about... And the Wheel of Fortune is in your career. So there might be some sort of new... new work coming through, because the Hermit is someone who has the wisdom. He's got the wisdom of the light, and he's able to take people into journeys and to be able to see their shadows and bring them back again. That's what the Hermit does. And maybe that's what some of you have been doing. So you've been in this sort of cocoon stage, and this is you emerging out of it into the Hermit. Some of you are just spending time in self-reflection, but I don't think that's the case with the other cards. I just don't get it, because if that was the case, that would be more showing up here in the relationship energy. So I think some of you are emerging from some sort of experience where you've had to, when you're on a death card, you're quite often going through a mutation, so some sort of shift. And then when you shift, you come out as the teacher. I mean, that is the process. That's the hero's journey, So some of you are obviously doing that. Now, the challenge is the Knight of Wands. So why is the Knight of Wands here? Because what's the Knight of Wands is a challenge? Why it's a challenge? It's with the Fool card. You know what? What's interesting? Oh my god, it's so dark. Can I just go and bring some light forward? That's better. I wonder if some of you, it depends where you are in the world, because we are still dealing with constrictions. That's maybe the Saturn Devil card here. Because the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords are the fastest moving knights. They move things so quickly, okay? They really, really move things so quickly. And with the Devil card here, because of the astrology, see, Aquarius is in Jupiter, but it's with Saturn. So Saturn is what gives us the staying power to take something from a beginning to an end. Saturn gets such a bad rap, okay? It does deal with limitations, but the limitations are what develops our staying power. It's what develops our endurance. It's what gives our soul a very, very strong definition. So maybe this completes metamorphosis is, so it's sort of happening, but it's happening in a very Saturn way, which means it's happening slowly over time. Saturn's the archetype of the seed that becomes a tree. But the fact that what you want to be is the Hermit, then you've got the wisdom to know that, Aries. But I guess that's, sometimes I guess that's what Aries energy has to deal with. Everyone has to deal with it. But with the challenge, the Fool, and the Knight of Wands, there's limitations here. There's no way around it. Okay? But let's not worry. The Knight of Swords in your relationship. So this Knight of Swords is a really fast-moving knight. Again, brings some sort of change, some sort of communication. I will clarify it for you, though. Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is a card of connection. with the Knight of Swords, there's some sort of reconnection going on here. Connecting with people, relationships, people from the past, some sort of re-establishment of something. Maybe it's someone that you haven't seen for a while, some sort of communication coming forward. So I'm still baffled as to why that's a challenge. Maybe you're having to communicate more online than face to face with the person. So there's still an energy of distance. Let me find out what the Devil card is about. The Wheel of Fortune and your money and work is fantastic. So something's coming 10 to a conclusion, and it's clarified with the Chariot card. So these are rapid, fast-moving major arcanas. When a major arcana shows up, they are divine destiny that we cannot, they're things that we're always meant to meet, you know, like destined, very, very destined things. And because the Hermit is the gift, this might be some sort of new function in the world. The Hermit's definitely the guide. He's the counselor, the sponsor, the person who leads someone. Or for some of you, what you do want is time spent on your own. But this Knight of Swords is a very, very busy energy in your relationship. So, but I'm getting this is more about your work in the world. So the Devil card at a soul level. What's the Devil card doing here? As if this is getting more bizarre. Okay. Now, so yeah, Saturn is what gives our energy definition. Yeah. So without it, we can have all the dreams in the world, all the aspirations, but unless we've got a card like this is what brings everything into a shape and a definition. It's about goal setting, making those goals attainable and doing it in a progressive, slow, like nature. The only thing nature does quickly is destroy. So when we're following natural law and when we're following a healthy, attainable set of goals, then really, really what we're working with is the Devil card. And we're following those natural laws of how things evolve, because it is with the Ace of Wands, which is about initiation of some new... I think it's to do with your career. I think it's to do with your place in the world, what you're bringing into the world. So what we bring into the world, and we all have this very, very unique blueprint of what we're to bring into the world. Now, we find our unique blueprint with our Aquarius and with our Uranus energy. So this is what the astrology is trying to make happen for everyone. Not everyone's going to want to. There's some people who don't want to innovate, and that's absolutely fine, okay? By the looks of it, Aries, you really, 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 really do. But by the looks of it as well, which I would say is the same, because we're never, ever, ever, or maybe that's not the case, maybe there is a few souls that are always on the Fool card, but I think we're always shifting between innovating and then dealing with the everyday circumstances of our lives, yeah? And that seems to be with what's going on here. But the Ace of Wands with the Devil card is not bad. And it's not wrong. This is how you bring things into the world. So that's it. You can't do it without it. So it's actually incredibly exciting. It might not be exciting to that part of us, you know, that magical thinking part of us. We've all got it. I've got a magical thinking part of me. It might not be quite as pleasant to the magical thinking part that just wants to think and make it happen. But to the part of us that wants to mature into our goals and actually achieve them, you could not get better than having Saturn as a support. Okay? So, and it's an Aquarius, so the two of them are working together. These can work in perfection together if you allow them to. And it's taking one bit at a time, not getting too much into the future or the past, and taking small progressive steps towards the goal. Okay? So let's look at the outcome. I might have to get a bit more clarity for you. I mean, there's clearly something. I'm trying to think of the natural zodiac. In the natural zodiac, it's going to be in your 11th house, which is the Aquarius house. It's the house of innovation. It's the house of innovation, creativity, humanity, you know, the brotherhood of man and woman, and bringing something into the world. So it's going to, that's what will be in your natural house. Queen of Swords. Again, so the Queen of Swords is the Aquarius energy. So this might be you being, I mean, it could be an Aquarius that you're making contact with, or this is about you trying to access knowledge. I mean, look at her energy. That's what the Queen of Swords really, really, really is. That's what Aquarius is. Uranus rules the cosmic mind. It's not the everyday functioning of the mind. It's the transpersonal. It's being in the truth. You know, it's way beyond shopping lists, guys. Okay? That's what the Queen of Swords is about. And because what you want is the Hermit. I mean, they're very different energies, but in a strange way they're not. Because they both have the ability to see in the dark. And then you get the Page of Cups. So this can be, for some people, this is some sort of new friendship, new relationship coming through, okay? And it'll probably happen very suddenly and very, very quickly with that Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords just emerges. 1 minute your life's one way, and then he emerges very quickly. For some of you, this can be some sort of new connection. For others of you, I mean, so this is about accessing this knowledge. It really, really is about knowledge with the Hermit in here. But also the heart. Now, I think this is what's going to change our world, is these energies combined, okay? Because when we're in Aquarius only, the shadow side of Aquarius can be very, very, very detached from the heart, unless they embrace the Leo and the 5th house, and the house of having your vision connected with what your heart wants for you. That's what these cards are about. And I mean, for some of you, this is relationship energy. But because of the amount of major arcana showing up in what you're trying to bring into the world, and what this astrology is about bringing something new into the world. It is for every single person, everyone. And that new thing into the world, we don't have to go and change the world. Change it. Offering one person your gift has got the power to change 10 other people. Yeah. And everyone's gifts are going to be different according to, I mean, it's really, really according to where the Uranus is and other aspects. But this is really the energy of being a pioneer And it's very, very much, very, very connected to having a vision. And the potential with the Devil, with the Ace of Wands, don't get frustrated with those cards. It's what's turned things like the law of attraction into a silly, silly game. It works with the power of Saturn, because Saturn gives us the backbone to endure. It gives us the backbone to, when obstacles and delays happen, to keep going. Okay, I'll go back a step, I'll reflect, I'll analyse, what do I need to do, and then move forward again. So when I'm working with goal setting and everything, I always try and work with a card like Saturn. Is it attainable? What's the first step? And not go right to the car crash. Keeping everything manageable. I'm going to ask for another card for you, because you've got quite a you've got a really big reading, guys, by the way. Everyone's readings, I'm going to stop after this one. Have been very so much power coming through. Yeah, you get the Aquarius card. There's some huge shift going on here. So Aquarius and Uranus is our soul's blueprint. That's where it rules. And when it's aspected, and the whole astrology for the next couple and a half years is bringing this blueprint into manifestation. And the manifestation card is the Devil card. So I would say, and the Hermit, because it's the Earth houses, which is the Empress, the Hierophant, the Devil, and the Hermit card. They're the ones that help us define, and without them, we've got loads of beautiful ideas, but nothing can happen. Do I think it's going to happen overnight? No. Do I think it's going to be a walk in the park? No. For anyone? No. The seeds are already here, and it'll be over the next 2.5 years that it begins to take definition, but especially this year. This year more than anything. Yeah, especially between now, April, May. Get as much of that, oh, this is what I want to bring into the world. Define it, Capricorn. Label it, define it, pin it down. And then it's the small, manageable steps. It's an ace. There's definitely some relationship. It's around what's going on in the relationship dynamics. There's a little bit of very fast-moving energy. Some of you might be potentially access to a new relationship. Yeah, you get another Knight. You get the Knight of Cups. So a lot of Knights. Venus will be in Capricorn, funnily enough, which again can bring delays. Earth, but also brings the ability to bring down your Venus, your values, what you desire, what you really want, but make it manageable. Okay, I mean, the universe does have miracles, but I think it likes us to do things in manageable steps, Aries. Okay, so much love, guys. Links to my websites below. Bye.